there's a lot of us with the consciousness raised, and not the the normies. The normies are not a threat to them. Eventually, when they get to in their minds, eventually when they get to the point where they're in complete control, the normies are just going to kill them, right? So we've seen that throughout time. The communists always do that. They starve out everybody that of a lower caliber, and they figure out who those people are, and they just starve them out. All right, the independent inquiry meant to uncover the truth is treated as an act of violence instead of critical thinking. So let's look at the fatal turn of events led to a predictability, and we're talking about, of course, they're saying the chemtrailing did this, or weather modification. So a cloud seeding company named Rainmaker finished its operations in Texas on July 2nd, just 2 days before the massive deluge. Rainmaker's operation was designed to modify the weather by inducing cloud formations to fend off droughts in high-risk areas throughout the state. So they've been using rain cloud seeding for all the way back into the 60s, guys. I talked about this in my last show. It goes back quite a while. Michael, NPCs for laughs. Yeah, NPCs, Truth Mike. Yeah, that's a term for them, the sheeple. Right? So they're gonna try and make these guys the scapegoat. Like I said, they probably have been using Rainmaker for different activities that they have benefited from, and they wanted to come in and cause a big tragedy, kill off a lot of people, and maybe stop the good side of, I guess, chemtrailing, if you could say that. I don't think it's good. I don't think you should be messing with Mother Nature. And he was on the Sean Ryan show, and I'm going to have a little clip from him. He was in UC Berkeley, California, of course, and he dropped out and he started this company. He's 25 years old, right? So Rainmaker, so this is from Augustus Dorico. He says, the natural disaster in the Texas Hill Country is a tragedy. My prayers are with Texas. Rainmaker did not operate in the affected area on the 3rd or 4th or contribute to the floods that occurred over the region. Rainmaker will always be fully transparent. All right, so we've seen Augustus with Bill Clinton, posing with Bill Clinton. All right, so I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical about that boy. Right? Skeptical, very skeptical. Jarrett says it's white mail, so they're going to use him for white mail, not black mail. They're going to white mail him. All right, because he is a white mail. All right, so let's look at a little piece of him, a piece of his interview. That is, so I don't know if they're going to piecemeal him or what, but it looks like he's going to be the scapegoat, like I've talked about.
Should we be scrutinous? Yes. To your point as well, you said well, what if you totally change the ecosystem? Could something bad happen? I was talking to, was it Will earlier in here? Wyatt. One thing to think about that is actually sort of a fun thought experiment is greening the Sahara, right? Sahara Desert, huge wasteland. If you turn the Sahara...
So Gaddafi was going to do that, and we know what happened to Gaddafi.
Green, that actually would not be very good, because the dust from the Sahara that goes over the ocean, over the Amazon, results in a lot of the cloud condensation and then precipitation. So if you turn all that green and the dust stops getting kicked up, you might actually reduce the precipitation of the Amazon. So when Rainmaker gets to the scale in a decade or so of actively terraforming the planet, making it more lush and green and symbiotic than it ever has been before, we're going to have questions that we have to answer about what the consequences will be globally. But I think...
All right. So I think he just answered our concerns there, didn't he? We don't know what, the dust from the Sahara going across, also the dust from the Sahara coming across the U.S., Florida, for instance, and into the Gulf, basically that that dry air and that dust from the sand, it stops out hurricanes. So hurricanes can't form. So maybe Gaddafi wanted to like green the deserts of the Sahara, so Florida would get more hurricanes and the U.S. would get more hurricanes, and it would destroy us. That's dumb. But there is consequences always. How can you determine that? Your cloud seeding operations from 2 days before that storm didn't cause that. I don't think it was wholly responsible, but I think that the deep state took advantage of that, just like they're going to take advantage of the earth changes that are coming in and take them to another level, guys. Right? So he's saying that the sand also blowing across causes rain. So those particles, just like he's using particles, and he says he's more effective making snow than he is with making rain at this point. So as the technology increases, the capabilities increase, they can do more and more and more. So as you saw at the end there, he believes that we'll be able to terraform and everything will be, there won't be any more storms around Earth. And is that a possibility? I think so. There's a lot to go into this. I think that at one time, Earth was completely covered with a pterodome, and everything was lush and perfect underneath it. And some kind of cataclysm or some evil reptilian race, Draco-looking people came in and destroyed that, right? And then all of the dome material went to the equators, or not the equators, but to the Antarctic and South Pole, North and South Pole, and that's where the ice belts melts. Because I just saw an article where if you go 10 kilometers down, how about that? We know about the 10 kilometers thing. So if you go 10 kilometers down underneath the ice in Antarctica, it's almost like everything's preserved. Everything's preserved. There's like rivers, and at one time they say lush vegetation. Everything's perfect down there, and just take the ice off, and it'd be like a tropical paradise again. So I think all of the Earth was like that at one time, and then that dome was destroyed, and then the ice went to the poles, right? Or the dome material went to the poles, and formed in ice. That's my thought. That's what I see. The Great Flood was water from the firmament. Yeah. So there is, biblical terms about that and so forth. So there is good information in the Bible, and a lot of good information actually. LifeWave, was the inventor basically used the information from the Bible codes, mathematical codes, that come up with the new light water machine. So you'll drink the water actually infused with light. So interesting stuff. So ICE, the Democrats are basically trying to, I just know that at some point, somehow, some way, that the Democrats are going to start this little mini, kinetic activity here in the United States with illegal aliens and so forth. And of course, terrorists they brought into the country for the specific purpose. That's one of the things ICE agents are involved in, trying to get these super radicals that have been brought here for very evil and negative purposes, trying to get them out as fast as they can. And that's really become a lot of focus. So the Jeffrey Epstein, P. Diddy stuff is going to go back burner, guys. Now, I know a lot of you guys want that. Now, when you start to see earth changes, and when you start to see the stuff, basically the illegals and terrorists start to rage in the cities, which is really, really close, you're not going to care about that. You're not going to care about that for a little bit, all right? And then we have to, like I said, I think the real priority is to make sure we have a good election system for the next time. These Democrats have to be gotten out of there, right? And they have to be replaced by good people. And I'm not saying that Republicans are perfect. They're not. Many of them, most of them, are just as bad, right? But within them, there are good people. Democrats are always going to vote against America, and they've been proving that for quite some time. So they have to go. 10 charged with attempted murder after alleged ambushing Texas ICE agents. So this was down in Texas. Texas has had a couple of these over the last, in July 4th, when we had, that major storm. So there's definitely some strangeness that's going on. Takeover potential they're trying to push, I believe, in Tejas. All right, 10 charged, like I said, with attempted murder after alleged ambushing Texas ICE agents. So this happened a little bit below Dallas and Alvarado, Texas, on July 4th, when that flooding happened. Federal prosecutors said attackers drew the agents out of an ICE detention center in Alvarado, Texas, with fireworks. They have fireworks at this point, guys. And soon it will be demolition. And by vandalizing vehicles. They allegedly shot a police officer in the neck and unloaded between 20 and 30 rounds on immigration agents. So either these guys are like the worst shots ever. I mean, I think I gave a monkey, and I've seen where monkeys are like get a gun and they start shooting and they shoot people up. Literally. It was a video. It was a leaked video where it was in Africa, where these guys are getting drunk, they're stoned or whatever, and they were feeding some monkeys or something, and then somebody got mean with a monkey or threw a weapon at it, and it got the weapon and just went full auto, right? So, and it shot a bunch of these guys up. So yeah, I think a monkey could do better. So that's very suspect to me, that between 20 and 30 rounds were shot and no one got hurt except for the one guy that got shot in the neck, right? It was a planned ambush with the intent to kill ICE correction officer, said Nancy Larson, U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas, at a press conference on Monday. Make no mistake, this was not a so-called peaceful protest. It was indeed an ambush. So this was began shooting fireworks off outside the Prairie Land ICE Detention Center, it's about an hour south of Dallas, and approximately 10:37 p.m. So that flood had already caused a lot of problems. There's a lot of focus on that, and these guys come over and start their little mayhem, right? The fireworks drew agents outside and found the group spray painting vehicles with ice pig, traitor, and other profanity, according to Larson. So they spray painted other profanity? Just kidding. A gunman who was positioned in the woods away from the group then fired. So this is very planned. This is pretty well planned. If you didn't have any training, if you had some guys that were very dedicated and had training, this would have been devastating, very devastating. They could have taken down that whole, they could have killed everybody. 10 people with all this, with good weapons and so forth. You can take over whatever you want. So this was an egregious attack on federal law enforcement officers, and it is part of an increasing trend of violence against them that is being fomented by the Democrat Party guys. Larson said local sheriff's deputies caught the alleged assailants in 2 separate vehicles near the facility. Wow. So these guys were just dumbasses all the way around. So that's all suspect to me. Both with tactical style vests and weapons. One group of 7 alleged assailants was also covered in mud. I think it was 10. Didn't they say 10? Yeah, 10 charged. So anyway, I guess they found 10 and maybe 3 others came up somewhere. I don't know. So it says tactical style vest and weapons. One group of 7, maybe it was just a group of 7, alleged assailants was also covered in mud. We found masks, goggles, tactical gloves in a residence, said Larson, along with additional body armor, spray paint, fireworks, and again, insurrectionist materials. So why would you need the additional body armor, which is a tactical thing to keep you from dying from bullets being shot at you, and spray paint and fireworks? And then he had one gun, AR style rifle, which somebody didn't know how to work, and it got jammed. Right. So that's very strange. Very strange. So you have to look at this stuff and, just, was this a setup? Was this a setup to draw attention? Was it just complete dumbassery? Like I said, a monkey could have taken a gun and done better. So I don't know. I lean towards a setup. These guys were set up. They knew they're being set up, and they went ahead and did this. They knew they're going to be arrested. So who set it up? What side set it up? And these guys knew they're going to be, or did they think they're going to get away? Somebody told them to do this, get in your vehicles and run, and you're going to be safe. And they believed it. Maybe, baby. I don't know. So this is what Stephen Miller has to say about this. And I completely and totally agree with Stephen Miller. Very, very well put. I couldn't have said it better, more succinctly. Very articulate. Bravo, Stephen Miller.
Security advisor, Stephen Miller. All right, Mr. Miller, ICE agents, Border Patrol agents, cops are now getting shot at. Well, how is this happening?
It's happening because, Jesse, there is an insurrectionist movement in the Democratic Party that is inspiring domestic terrorism against ICE.
All right, so the other incident he's talking about was, I think it's around the same date, July 4th, and a single shooter with tactical gear and so forth tried to shoot up a law enforcement station. Now, these could be early runs, guys, because I told you how when I was in the Middle East, when they wanted to take over a town, the terrorist groups would come in and they take out the U.S. trained and, with their weapons, their body armor and everything, their tactical gear. The terrorists would come and kill all those guys at their checkpoints and in their staging, their offices, whatever staging area. They'd kill them all, and then they just take over the town. And eventually, the military would not come because they're scared too. They're not very well trained, none of them. So we have seen our police officers, a lot of them are former military and so forth. They have had to become more tactical, but still, that's not the norm in most cities. You'll see groups. You'll see. I've trained with a lot of SWAT over my time in the SEAL teams and on and on. So and later when I left the military and CIA, I trained some of those guys up. So they're really good, but they do their regular job in the police, and then they have their tactical gear usually in the trunk of their car. And then if there's something goes down, they all respond. They run to the back of their trunk, get all their gear out, get geared up, and then go. And then everybody forms up and they go in and take something down. Now, in a bigger city, a lot of times they have the tactical vehicles now that have come from all the wars that we have fought. A lot of those tactical vehicles, instead of just going to the junkyards, have gone to a lot of these. They've been upgraded and more modernized and gone to a lot of these police forces. There was a lot of pushback for many, many years for the police getting these, and I think we're going to find out that we're going to be happy that they do or did get them. So the average city, little small town, so forth, could very easily. That's why I've been saying, you think you're in a small town, get out of the big cities, and then I'm in a small town, I'm in the woods, and blah blah blah. I think they're going to hit everywhere, and the easiest targets are going to be hit first. That's the way it always works. I don't know how widespread this will be when it does kick off. It'll be just. I think it's probably just going to start herky jerky here and there, and just like the George Floyd riots are going to reach a certain level, and that's when the tactical guys are probably going to get involved. And instead of just looting and raiding like they did before, they're going to go full tactical and start taking down cities and big cities and so forth. So that's the way I would do it. That's the way I foresee it happening on an analytical, professional level that, and remote viewer type stuff. Obviously, any of that can change information. And there's obviously a very concerted effort to start to head this off as fast as possible before it starts. It's not going to be enough, unfortunately. because you're looking at millions and millions and millions of very bad people that have come into our country because the Democrats intend to take our country. So that other shooting was at a lone shooter, I think at a ICE facility, trying to shoot the officers as they're coming out, and they killed them, right? And so that's the two they're talking about, and that was in Texas too.
You have the mayor of Los Angeles mobilizing agitators, mobilizing the mob against ICE, saying that federal law enforcement has to leave her city. This is a settled constitutional question. Federal law is the supreme law of the land. You cannot nullify it. You cannot succeed from it. It is the law of the United States of America. So these insurrectionist Democrats are every day engaging in rhetoric that is incentivizing, that is encouraging, that is fomenting violent terrorist attacks against ICE and ICE officers. Not only in the shootings that you've seen recently, but ICE officers are being doxxed. Their families and children are being threatened. Their addresses are being posted online. They are being subjected to a campaign of terror by these radical Democrats. Why, Jesse? What is this all about? This is the central struggle in the West. The Democrat Party's objective is to flood the West with millions upon millions of illegals from the developing world, from the poor nations of the world, the failed states of the world, the collapsing states of the world, believing that in so doing, they will collapse the West. They will collapse the middle class. They will collapse the population that has lived here before the migrants came. And in so doing, they think in the rubble of that, they can rule. They can sit on top of the pile of ashes. Ask yourself this: why is it that Democrats are so insistent that unlimited numbers of illegals from countries that are incapable of managing their own affairs come here? Countries like Somalia, countries like Haiti, countries that have no history of successful self-government, and they want unlimited numbers of illegals from those countries and refugees from those countries to come here with no chance at the pace, the scale, the scope of arrivals at being able to assimilate and integrate into the American way of life. What has it done to our schools? What has it done to our hospitals? What has it done to just traffic in our cities? Every issue that affects our quality of life, Jesse, public safety, drugs, crime, education, healthcare, waiting in the emergency room, are all exacerbated, worsened, and undermined by mass illegal immigration. ICE officers are heroes, and they need the support of the American people. President Trump is liberating our towns, just as he was promised, just as the American people overwhelmingly voted to give him a mandate to do just 5 months ago.
It's straight up treason, and everybody knows it, and we shouldn't be afraid to say it, Mr. Miller.
All right, good stuff. And that's the kind of stuff. A lot of good comments in the chat, and I like to see that you guys are informed. You're involved. The chat. There's not a lot of people watching, unfortunately. I think this information, it's a reach for a lot of people. Unfortunately, they're not getting it, and it's gonna come because there's not enough people paying attention. But some of you are talking about how there are areas where people are waking up. They're not allowing some of this stuff to happen. I was on a show just a little while ago, and we were talking about Kevin Boyd and I were talking about. He was saying that there's people in LA that are saying they don't see any riots whatsoever. I don't know. Maybe it's in a certain area of LA. Maybe it's central casting. Who knows? Is it central casting? Some of it's real. It could be a lot of that, guys. So you have to be aware. You have to be involved. You have to keep I know a lot of you guys are staying informed. You're watching me every day. You're watching other people that are, releasing information. I appreciate that. I appreciate that for our country, because you guys being informed and being knowledgeable about this will make a difference. I don't know how much difference that's going to be, but just like the COVID-19 vaccination program, there was enough of us that stood up and said no, not only no, but effing no, and they stopped. All right. So it may, and I believe it will, come to that point where there will be enough of us that will stand and make a difference. So we'll see in some cities, though, like a lot of people have said, it will be some of these cities will be destructed completely. So I don't see that changing. There's not enough people, like I said, that are paying attention. There should be tens of thousands of people like, what, Mike? What should we pay attention to? It's not there. It's not there at all, guys. But it's okay because there's enough of us informed and involved, and good informed chat in here that it will make a difference. Right. All right. Lots of love. Stay in the vibration. It makes a difference. And I know some of you guys are saying you're going to be alone in your houses. You're not feeling safe. Don't take that attitude. Take that love vibration, because I've been in terrorist countries where they were hunting me, right, in my groups, and I kept that vibration. I remember sitting very quietly and knowing I was being hunted, and they may have been close. They were close, and just sending out that love vibration, and it never happened, right? And then we were informed that they had been hunting us, and they gave up because they couldn't find us. So I'm not saying that you just stay loving and you'll be safe. It's a frequency. It's a very strong frequency, and you send it out. You create bubbles, and the bubbles go out further. It can be done. I teach this in my courses. A lot of people have done these courses in my sort of warrior courses. All those courses have been heavily, thousands of people have done those courses. So that information's out there, and a lot of people have gotten that information. They've shared it with others, and I think there's enough vibrational energy out there to stop a lot of this. But like I said, maybe when they start to kick this off, it'll be short-lived, and it won't get the traction that they're expecting because there's so many people involved or will be involved and so forth. So prayers to America and prayers to the world that we will overcome the deep state activities, that the loss of life will not be as severe as they plan, right? And that we overcome them, and then the world will be a beautiful place again. Who knows? Maybe we'll build the dome back, because I'm sure we got the technology to do that, and the world will be, like we've heard, a living paradise. Right? All right. Stay amazing. Stay loving, and I'll see you guys next time.